Hey, this is Pumpkin Garden Update Part 6. It is July 24th, 2012. And I have a lot of pumpkins growing, but I also have issues with vine borers. And I'm afraid that the sheer number of vine borers I have seen up here, the moths flying around in the day, and I personally killed 4 of them just by random chance that they were landing close enough to me that I can grab them. I'm afraid that I'm going to have vine borers in pretty much every plant. And I did surgery on 6 or 7 plants yesterday, but there's just some plants that there's, you know, look at how complex these vines are in here. These are almost a bush style pumpkin. They have a short vine. I mean, this is just one plant right here. Getting in at the stem in there is nearly impossible. This is the top of the stem. Like, then it turns and goes down. It's so complex. Look at this nice pumpkin. It's bigger than a basketball. I could palm a basketball. It's one of my, I have 3 really big ones. That's one of my really big ones. I'm gonna go around and show you the pumpkins. Oh, and yesterday I sprayed for the first time for bugs with Bug Begone Max. There's a YouTube grower named, hopefully I say his name right, B. Conklin 6. B. Conklin 6. I think I'm saying that right, I hope. Well, he used this, I guess a few weeks ago, and he was the first person I've seen to use anything other than 7 in a powder or 7 in a spray on pumpkins, and he said it worked great, and he, you know, used it on many other things, and it worked great. So I decided to use that, and I sprayed it last night in the evening, and I have not seen a cucumber beetle or a squash bug or a squash vine borer yet. It seems to have done the trick. Here's one of my jack-o'-lantern plants. They're way behind, mainly because they've been eclipsed and haven't been getting the sun they need. But it is starting to make somewhat of a vine. It's just looking wilty because today's water day. I water every other day. In the sun, most of them will look wilty. I'm going to go around quick and show you what pumpkins I got. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the surgery I did last night. Showed you that one. Surgery I did for vine borers. And it was not fun. I do have a lot of pumpkins growing. There's one in here. Oh, there's one down here. It's a good sized one too. It's very hard to get into some areas. This is a newer one, and it's taken off pretty good. Let's see. Oh, there's a big one in there. Right in there. That one right there is one of my bigger ones. Could be my second biggest or my biggest. Ooh, I almost tripped. I have a jack-o'-lantern in here somewhere, and I literally can't find it right now. Here's a pumpkin in here too. I have a jack-o'-lantern over here somewhere too. This one may die. It's just, this one has been eclipsed just way too much. It hasn't really been getting any sun, but there's Boo Boo. Boo Boo. Boo Boo has no tail. Another pumpkin right here. These are all magic lanterns that I've showed you. The magic lanterns took early, way earlier than my jack-o'-lanterns did last year. And this is a good sized one. And they really just took off. I mean, it took right off. I know there's I know there's one in here, but I don't want to make this really long. Oh, here's a really big one. This one may be my biggest one. It's much bigger than a basketball now. That's a magic lantern. And then right next to it, there's an Aladdin. These Aladdins, they grow a little slower. Or I mean, mine have been growing a little slower. The magic lanterns, though, are definitely my new favorite pumpkin. Here's another magic lantern. Again, this one right here isn't even near my biggest, and it's bigger than my biggest from last year. One of the plants I did surgery on yesterday, right down here, it's looking a little wilty. It may just be need water. I'm gonna be able to monitor this pumpkin down here that it has growing. Know if I did a successful surgery. I did surgery on this plant. I had to cut a lot out, and it has a good pumpkin growing. An Aladdin pumpkin. I showed you that one. Here's an Aladdin right here. This is a good size one too. Let's see. Oh, there's more Aladdins over here. This plant has two. This is the only one that's so far supporting two much bigger than my hand pumpkins. This has two big Aladdins on it. I'm gonna miss some. Sometimes it's hard to find them. Like this one, it's hiding under this leaf. That's an Aladdin right there. And I know this one over here, good size one. That's a magic lantern. I'm in the rows that basically connect. Here's an Aladdin right here, and a little magic lantern next to it. I don't know if that magic lantern's gonna make it. It already has a good sized one on it. Usually they only produce about one. That's just my luck. I've only been able to really get one, sometimes two per plant. Here's an Aladdin. I cut some of this plant away too. There wasn't a borer in it that I could find, but this is one of the ones I did some surgery on. This one got a newly pollinated, well, probably a week ago. Oh, here's a good size Aladdin. This might be my biggest Aladdin. Pretty much bigger than my hand by a good amount, getting fatter too. There's another Aladdin down here. My potted plant I actually did surgery on too. I don't know if this is gonna make it. It's got a little female that I can monitor, but definitely behind. All the plants that looked behind, see how much smaller they are? I did surgery on them and they had vine borers. The bigger ones, I still think they have vine borers, but I think they got them later. I didn't do surgery on this plant. It has a good sized pumpkin. I know it does. There, yeah, it's pretty good size. Here's another one. Another Aladdin down here. This one I did surgery on, and this one had the most borers. I think it had 3 or 4. I had to cut off some stem or some offshoots. I don't know what to call them, where leaves are. And the borers were in there. They weren't in the base. Okay, I had to remove this piece completely. It was located right here. Now I'm trying to square off a section like a box, trying to outline it and pop it out to see if I can pop it out and then maybe put it back in, but you know. Okay, this is a section I just cut off that plant. Here's where I cut it off, completely solid right here. This was attached to the very base of the plant, literally touching the ground. Here's the hole where the borer went in. So there will be borers in this plant when I cut it open. So let's see. Yep, there's a borer moving around right there. It may be hard to pick them up. Right by my thumb. So the complete myth of them, that's my father's car. He's leaving next door, and I'm on the driveway, his driveway. Well, actually, shared driveway. The myth that they only go in at the base is completely shot right there. I had a hole up in the stem, no area for them to enter the base yet. He was eating his way towards the base. And there he is. So covering your base, yeah, it may help prevent some, but it definitely won't help prevent all of them. Most of the holes I found are up in the leaf sections. Higher, that one was low, and not in the base. I did a little more opening of this vine, and there's actually 3 so far that I counted in here, in just this one section. There's 1, 2 is down here. I cut him in half. He's kind of a baby. 2, and 3 is up here. He's trying to make us an escape. These are disgusting. I know that they're all over my plants, inside. There's probably more. There's no doubt there's probably more just in this little section. Disgusts me. Totally disgusts me. That's just this one little section right here. I suspect every plant is gonna have borers in it. Borer activity, I truly do. There's probably more in this area. Yeah, there's a little baby right there. Little baby. Oh man. How many of them come out of one egg? Little baby borer. Oh. This is sick. That's sickening. And there's probably more in that plant too. That's why I say it's almost impossible to get all of them. Like, if you cut your plant open, okay, the plant's probably gonna die. There's no doubt about that if you don't cut it open. But if you cut it open, you know, they go all over the plant. They truly, this piece is a piece that came off of the base. They weren't in the base, they were in this piece. And as I said, I saw a hole, wherever it is on here, that it entered, up here, this hole, that one or all entered, that the egg was laid and just drilled its way in. So, I hate borers so much. I'm just leaving them here. Let them eaten by ants or something. I'm gonna lose a lot of plants, I know it. I'm gonna be able to monitor this pumpkin over here. It has growing on it. It had 3 or 4 vine borers in it. And I suspect it because it's much smaller than all my other plants. Same with this one, it had borers. Potted plant had borers. I did surgery on 2 of those down there. I couldn't find the borers, but I still think that they're in there because they don't only hide in the base. Sometimes, well, most of the time. Hey, Boo. What are you doing, Boo? Most of the time on my plants, they're making their way in higher, and then, you know, boring their way to the base. They haven't been boring in at the base. I did surgery on this plant right in front. I did surgery on that one all the way in the very end. And again, they're smaller plants. I suspected them to have borers because they're behind, they're smaller. But that doesn't mean that these big ones in here don't have borers. They could easily have got them. I saw vine borers flying around up here as recent as the day before yesterday. So I got a lot of pumpkins growing, but I have a lot of borers.